Hello all, welcome to this session. In this session, I am going to answer one of the Selenium interview questions. That is, explain a program which results in SQL exception in Java programming. Let me answer this question with practical demonstration. So in order to get this runtime error in Java programming or exception, SQL exception in Java programming, we have to write this kind of line. Okay, so the problem should be there in while connecting to DB. Okay, so here these 4 lines are for connecting to the database. Okay, there is some database URL we have given, some username and some password to log into this database or to access the database. If any of these details are incorrect and when you are trying to connect to the database, you are going to get this SQL exception. So let me practically demonstrate this for you. Let me clear all this stuff and freshly write down the code for you. So what I'm going to do here is first I'm going to say string URL is equal to give the URL, right? JDBC Java database connectivity followed by MySQL. Okay, you are going to connect a database which is there in the DBMS, database management system software, that is MySQL. Okay, DB from MySQL, and then you have to give the port number. So IP address and port number. So for that, put a colon, double, / and say localhost is the IP address of your local machine, colon, you have to give some port number, that is 3306 in this case. And after that, give the name of the database. So as the database doesn't exist, I'm just going to say no DB exists here. You can write anything here, okay? Some database which doesn't exist, okay, in your at this particular IP address and port number and all. Let's say there is no database. Intentionally, we are writing this, okay? And write string username. I'll say wrong username, okay? Wrong user, okay? Like this, I'm giving some wrong details. Everything is wrong in this case. Password, right? Incorrect password. Just giving all invalid data. You can see that, right? And after that, try to connect to the database. For that, to connect to the database, generally driver manager dot, okay, get connection. Here in get connection, you have multiple overloaded methods. You go with this one, get connection, string URL, string user, string password, select that. And in place of the URL, you just give the URL. In place of the username, give the username. In place of the password, give the password. All these details, whatever I'm trying to give for connecting to the database are incorrect. This URL is incorrect. This username is incorrect. This password is incorrect. Now I'm getting some kind of, a checked exception. The Java compiler is very smart that it is suggesting that there is a possibility that if any of these details are wrong, you may get an exception. Try to handle this beforehand, it is saying, but I'm not going to handle the exception using try catch block. Rather, I'm going to ignore the exception by shutting the mouth of the compiler to not give such kind of error for now. Okay, I am very confident with these details. I don't want your suggestion kind of thing. I'm saying and shutting the mouth of the compiler by adding this throws declaration, throws SQL exception line will be added beside the method. But these details are incorrect. So we have just shut the mouth of the compiler without handling this exception. So exception will occur now. Okay. We are going to get the exception. Get connection is going to return the object of the connection. So connection is equal to, and hover the mouse on this connection and say create local variable. 1 minute. Hover the mouse on this connection and say create local variable. The return type of the get connection, that is connection class, will be added here. Now after that, just run the code. Okay, now run the code. Whenever you're trying to connect to the database with invalid details like invalid URL, wrong database, which database doesn't exist, wrong URL, wrong password, then you are going to get this exception known as SQL exception in the output. Just run this. If everything is correct, I will not get this SQL exception. But if these details are wrong, in this case, you are going to get a SQL exception in Java programming. At line 15, you got the exception when you are trying to connect to the database with these details, incorrect details, you are getting this SQL exception. Okay. So fine. So hope guys, you got an answer for this question with practical demonstration. So that's all for this session. Thank you. Bye-bye.